Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Howdy y'all, this is Red O'Loughlin. We're on The Wise Ones on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. I'm an author, a writer, have over 1,000 original content articles on LinkedIn. I've research the human body at the cellular level, chemically speaking. I look for cause and effect relationships. Treat a cause, fix a problem, treat symptoms, and you'll always be treating symptoms. That's what I write about. That's what I speak about. And I publish books for people, over 40 for authors so far. And as you see today, I'm a TV host. Today's show is The Wise Ones. We just finished The Corner Bookstore on the same network, USA Global TV and Radio Network. And I have my own show following this one called Talking Heads. And I talk about some aspect of health or wellness that I think is important. And today I'm talking about preventing disease. So that's who I am as an introduction. Introduce my guest today is a very good friend of mine. She's here locally in the area. We've been on shows here in the past. She's also been a former host on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. And she is a chef, she's an author, she's a businesswoman, she's a number of different things, just a load of fun and activity. So Chef Ricki Mckenna, please join us.
Hi, Red. Thank you very much. Good to see you.
Always good to be seen.
You betcha. Yeah, I'm glad to be here again.
Yeah, we were talking the other day, and it's been a long time since you were on the show, and one of the interesting things was the last show we had, we ended up with over 5,000 views. I'm thinking, whoa, why do people like Ricki so much?
I think they like you too, Red. It's okay. I
appreciate it. But anyway, we're on The Wise Ones today, and from a perspective of being a business owner, an entrepreneur, a bon vivant, just all those things that fit into your category. Why don't you start out just telling us a little bit about Ricki Mckenna before you became a business person?
Well, wife, mother, 2 kids, house, home, and, mortgage and all that stuff. And I decided when the kids were in high school that I had to do something. So I started business and I became a nutritionist. I love food. I used to cook all the time. I still do. I love food. I love to feed people. And what I learned as the years have gone by more and more, that food really makes the difference in your life. So the nutrition path was the one that I've stuck with, as well as the cooking path. And it's developed. Both of my kids are incredible chefs. As a matter of fact, I think my son does all the cooking, most of the cooking in his family. And the grandkids are learning to cook as well. It's something that, what can I tell you? A Jewish mother, and she taught me how to cook, and then I learned more on my own. And we all have to eat. So it's something that really is worldwide. It's universal. I love looking at recipes and fixing recipes from all over the world and teaching people how to cook. Red, this is something that I found people don't know how to cook. When I went to the food bank, our local food bank here in Houston, I was told by one of the people that they had cabbages were being refused because people didn't know what to do with them. Cabbage is one of the most healthful foods on earth. And it hurt my heart. because people don't understand what food is and how to work with it, whether it's eating it raw or cooking it. It's just the how-tos are what I specialize in.
It's interesting in the old days, and I'm not talking about that many old days ago. We
Mm,
had the recipes there in front of me. Here's a cookbook from this place. Here's one from my church. Here's one from my mom.
yeah,
Whatever those things were. And then the internet came along. Okay, here's some recipes here. And then the YouTube came out and they showed us, well, here's how you actually do it. That's kind of
I'm,
what you did for a
I'm
while.
there. Yes.
You've done that, and you have a number of videos out there that show that.
Oh yeah.
And so today, yeah, I look at a recipe. I just, okay, those are the things I really need, but I want to see how somebody does it. So I pull up a YouTube and put that in there, and okay, I look at another one, okay, and I start seeing the little nuances, the differences that this
Right.
chef do that this one won't. And some of them are very good, like you, about saying why you do it this way, not just the fact you do it, but the fact is you tell them why they do it, because now it becomes more important. And I think that's so critical when you're sharing knowledge and your wisdom, particularly here on the show, The Wise Ones. Why is it important that we know this or do this?
Yeah. Exactly. And this morning, actually, I was making a salad. I've got a little bit that I put into a, I don't know if you can actually, yeah, you can see it. It's 4 superfoods. It's kale, collards, mustard greens, and broccoli, and tomatoes and red peppers. It's a delicious salad. The whole point is to get the nutrition in. Collard greens are one of the most nutritious on the planet. They even have vitamin K, so which is hard to get in different foods. And I'd add mushrooms if I wanted some vitamin D. So it's things like this that I teach. And this morning, I grabbed a knife to start cutting things up, and it wasn't sharp at the end. The tip of it wasn't sharp. So I did a quick lesson on sharpening knives and why to do the tip as well as the rest of the knife, all the way to the base of the blade. And the way to test how sharp your knives are. Do you know how to do that, Red?
I always use a piece of paper. I don't know how you do it.
Okay, take a tomato, and especially a really ripe one, and just lay the blade of the knife on it and pull it across it. If it cuts it, it's sharp.
Okay, that makes sense because they and bell,
Tomatoes,
yeah, they and bell peppers are two that sometimes are
yes,
a little difficult if the knife isn't really sharp. Now you mentioned tomatoes, and there's a couple of health issues with that. I mean, the
yes,
seeds and the skin have a lot of lectins in it, and for most
right,
of us, that's not an issue. But for some people, and they may not even know they have a lectin sensitivity,
right.
and it can cause some issues. So,
Like
like,
with arthritis and something,
yeah, so that's one of those ones that okay, you're going to cut up the tomato, peel it, get rid of the seeds, use the rest of it.
right?
Some of us, I just bought a bunch of. It was on sale, half off the mozzarella cheese because I want to have some caprese,
Ah,
uh,
yum.
and so the cheese was half off, and buffalo mozzarella. So I said, okay, that's what I want. And so those things now, when I do my tomatoes that way, I usually dice them, but I
Oh,
don't have a problem um, with the
I like
lectin.
the big beef tomatoes. I don't have a
Well,
problem with the lectins either.
yeah, beefsteak is what I
Fortunately,
prefer to buy. I
knock
got
on
yeah,
wood.
beefsteak is almost all I buy unless I can't find them because I really like
Yeah.
the meatiness and I usually about 15 minutes before I serve them, I put a little bit of salt and pepper on,
Mm-hmm.
and it just explodes the flavor out of that tomato.
Yes, a
Okay.
little bit of salt
Uh,
because everybody's so salt conscious, and most of our vegetables, especially greens, contain their own amount of sodium, and it's good stuff. But yeah, okay, got
I
it.
I have salt in my water. I take an eighth of a teaspoon of pink salt, Himalayan salt, and I
Hmm.
add it there because there's over 70 trace minerals and things. I think
In the Himalayan salts, yes.
the Mayan gold, Baja Mayan gold, has over 90 or something like that. But anyway, an eighth of a teaspoon in the water it gives you those things that you never get from everything else. And
Right,
so, and it's one of those.
electrolytes.
Now my daughter can't stand it. That is way too much salt for her. My wife, oh yeah, I can kind of taste it. Yeah, it's there, and I can almost taste it on my. But it's the first thing I do in the morning. is I down a bottle of water with salt. And
Mm-hmm.
that salt, in this particular case, is not, the white salt you have on the table, but something
No,
that's
that's
nutritious.
bleached.
Yeah. And so that salt, again, is use the right kind of salt if you're cooking.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And sometimes the Himalayan salt gives it a different flavor. And salt comes literally from white to black. There's pink salt. There's even a green tinge salt that I've seen. And there's a combination of salts. There's black salts that are really delicious. They all have a little bit of different flavor, and they all have a little bit of different mineral content. That's the reason they have the different colors, for one thing. But salt, it can be used in moderation very well. Oversalting things can get you into trouble. But I'm going to ask you about one thing, Red, and we can still be friends. Why are you using a plastic bottle?
Convenience. My other container is this one.
Ah, better.
That's got
Okay.
that has my tea in it. I got 7 different kinds of tea in here. And,
Oh, okay. The
but
reason I say that is because so many of us travel around in the cars in the heat, especially here, and we've got a bottle of water with us. But instead of having glass or stainless steel, we've got the plastic bottles. Do not drink the water from a plastic bottle if it has gotten hot in your car, because what that does is it loosens up all the nasty little chemicals in the plastic that leach into your water, and they are not good for you. There's enough stuff in the air that we breathe that's not really great. But at least if you're drinking filtered water, drink it out of a glass, stainless steel, or some other form of, a ceramic cup or bottle, please.
yeah, when I get up in the morning, I'm barely functional. I throw my eighth of a teaspoon in and kind of sip on it for a while. But it's one of those habits you get into that can be changed. But I do have a big pot of tea that I go through pretty easily.
Yeah, I do too. I'm a tea person.
But microplastics, that's an issue. That's a health issue. There are a lot of other issues there also, and you had a very good point. But now, as a chef, nutritionist, you wrote a book, and the book is kind of unique in the fact that you see the little black thing going down the edge of it.
This?
Yes, I want to talk about that in just a second. Let's talk about your book first, and then we'll talk about the binding.
Okay. Yeah, the book first is one of the books that Red has helped me do. And we did it very quickly, probably in about 6 months from start to finish. And 2 of the features that Red and I talked about, and I agreed with him so much, were number 1, the spiral binding. And I've had buyers who've bought the books say, oh, good, I don't have to hold it open with soup cans to read the recipe. And also, just to show you, you can read the typeface. It's large. So for those of us who need glasses, or even those who don't, the typeface is easy to read. And there's another feature that I put in here because I want you to make the recipe yours. So I put in a page for notes. And I also put in some peaches. Wait a minute. Let's see. Here we go. After the recipes, there are blank pages. So you can put in your notes and make those recipes your own. There's over 30 recipes in here, along with nutrition hints. There's a chart for cooking beans because that's one of the foods that people have trouble with. And lots of other nutritional information, and even some stuff for kids where they can make food animals and get them in the kitchen when they're little. Because when you start them young, they appreciate food. They can learn to understand what food is and how they feel from it. And if you give kids choices of different foods to eat, what I've found is you give them some fruit, some good fruit, or you give them a bowl of candy, they'll come back to the fruit because the candy, overdone especially, doesn't make them feel as good as the fruit does. The sugar in the real stuff is much better for them. Here's what I wanted to show you. I don't know if you can see my little piggy.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, and then there's my birdie, and that is a red pepper with some celery wings. So this is the kind of thing, and you can take oranges and different foods with kids and let them help you in the kitchen and teach them. This is where I learned. This is where my son, daughter, and my grandkids all learned. Actually, I remember when my first granddaughter was little, she couldn't reach the countertop. Of course, she was about 3, and her head was about equal with the countertop. So we got her a bench, and she stood up on the bench. He got her one of the ceramic knives or plastic knives that actually cut, and he carefully taught her. I watched, and I was just, it thrilled my heart. I watched as he carefully taught her how to cut things. So she became his little sous chef. And this is the way kids learn, and to learn to cook for themselves, if, whatever the situations are, good, bad, or whatever. And cooking for yourself is really important. And that's one of the things I wanted to mention today, Red, because the cooking for one thing right now is huge. There are a lot of single people out there, or people who just cook for themselves, and sometimes another person or a family. But the cooking for one is super important, because I've heard a lot of people say, oh, I can't do that. I can't cook for enough for one. Well, if you make enough for 2, you have a refrigerator, you probably have a freezer with it, and things can be stored. Besides which, you've got one body to live in. And if you don't take care of it, where are you going to live?
When I was growing up, I got the opportunity to cook. My mom was in the hospital for some reason, and my dad had to cook for, I can't remember the details.
Mm-hmm.
But I could count on one hand my entire life the amount of meals I saw my dad cook. But one of the things, it was a good meal, but one of the things that surprised me was he made applesauce from apples.
Of course.
And that wasn't so, I'd never seen that as a kid. You always buy applesauce in a can or a jar.
Yeah.
That's the way we had applesauce. I had never seen my mom make applesauce from apples, but here my dad is feeding us, and applesauce. He had made it from scratch, so
it's delicious too.
And so it just, the little surprises. We may know how to cook, we may choose not to.
What's
I learned
interesting
how to from my mom, but my kids were not quite as ambitious as I want to. They've now picked up a lot of that. But same thing, my grandkids weren't interested. But now, one of them has their families, the other 2 is out of college and in college, and they still have that opportunity to learn. But
right.
But you're right. We have a lot of situations nowadays, whether you're retired, end of, empty nester first time,
Right.
or even coming out of college, that it's a one, and that's it. You're cooking for yourself.
Right.
And it gets expensive, and it's a health issue when all you're doing is buying hamburgers and chicken and Chinese
prepared stuff, boxed stuff.
So we have a commercial break coming up in about a minute and a half. So what I want to do is kind of dive into the cooking for one aspect of things when we come back from the commercial break. So while we're waiting for that, we've talked about tomatoes. We've talked about some other things. Is there another food, mushrooms? Let's talk about mushrooms for just a minute. What kind of benefits are there? How do you prepare them? What do you like about them?
Well, first of all, mushrooms are one of the few foods that you'll find vitamin D, because they absorb a lot of sunshine. So it's transferred to you. Mushrooms, commercial mushrooms, can be wiped instead of washed. If they're really full of mud, fine, wash them. But make sure they're dry before you use them again. Also, things like shiitake mushrooms, which are one of my favorites. Those are grown on wood. So they're basically fairly clean. They just need to be wiped. And unless you're really kind of crazy about any of that stuff, and I use a special veggie wash. But mushrooms are wonderful because they add such flavor. It's called umami, the flavoring from mushrooms, and you can put them into soups, stews. Sometimes I'll take some kale or some spinach or something and throw them together with some mushrooms, and that's a side dish, or it can be a main dish. You can use portobellos. I have a fabulous recipe for a portobello pot roast that I had a vegan chef come as a guest, He asked for 2 helpings. So I felt, I did well with that one. But it's got everything in it but meat. So the portobello mushrooms were a great substitute for the meat. And as I say, they're full of minerals and especially vitamin D, which is very needed. And in many people, unfortunately, not only in the United States, but all over the world, vitamin D is one of those vitamins that people are low on, and they need supplement to help get them up to the right, because vitamin D is more than a vitamin. It's actually almost a hormone precursor, and it helps other things be absorbed into your system. So it's a very important vitamin. And besides which, I like the taste of mushrooms. I make soup too.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and go to a station break, and we'll be right back in about a minute or so.
Great. See you soon.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Steve Klein Art at steveklein.art.
My name is Steve Klein, born Manchester, England, 1953. My quest in my lifetime is to create artwork from my soul and the deepness within my wildest dreams and fantasies. In 2012, my heart stopped when I was given too much anesthetic for a minor knee operation, and this near-death experience took me to another multi-dimensional world, an out-of-body experience, and I was given the gift of being blessed by an overwhelming, burning passion to become, for the very first time in my life, an artist with an eternal, passionate desire to bring my art, which I've named multi-dimensional, subliminal, freeform art, to the world, as only 3% recover from what I experienced. And now in my golden years want to release my cosmic, vital energy through my art to allow people to be a part of my cosmic dance.
To learn more, email roccogoodwine@gmail.com. For VIP pricing, mention USA Global TV and Radio.
Howdy again, Red O'Loughlin here on the Wise Ones on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. My guest today is Chef Ricki McKenna. Please join me.
Thank you. I'm back.
You had mentioned cooking for one is fun. That's kind of a new direction you're going in, as I understand.
Yes.
And your chef now is your catering. You're doing lots of different things. So tell the world what you're doing now and the direction you want to go in and why.
Well, what I'm doing now is emphasizing cooking for yourself. Who's more important? And I've got 6 good reasons here that I'm going to give you, just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about and why. Number 1, it saves you money. It saves you time. It gives you more time to meditate, more time to be with yourself, and to have a little bit of fun in your kitchen. Number 1, you are important. And number 2, nobody's watching. You're by yourself. You can eat what you want. I mean, if there's nobody looking over your shoulder saying, hey, that's too much garlic, I can't eat that. You can embrace your solo cooking as a rewarding and learning experience. You can experiment, and there's nobody that'll go, ugh, except you. And then you try it a different way the next time. But it's a learning. It's your own gustatory playground in your kitchen. It saves you time. The time people take to go out, to sit in a restaurant, or even a fast food, God forbid, place. Waiting in restaurants, you could be home relaxing, creating your own gourmet meal, reading a good book, or watching your favorite TV program, planning a vacation, whatever. But your time is yours. You know what's in your food. And here's where the choices come in. When you shop, and I even teach you how to shop, you know what you're putting into your food. Because interesting, I read an article just recently about the takeout plastics. And I can't give you the whole thing, but suffice it to say that the stuff, putting a hot food into a plastic takeout thing is not the best thing in the world for you, because that plastic leaches a whole bunch of junk. Okay, so you know what's in your food. And if you have sensitivities to certain foods or allergies, then you can make your choices accordingly. So it's preventive medicine in that sense and extends your life. You save money. Eating out can get very expensive. A couple of weeks ago, my sweetie and I went out for breakfast. We had eggs, bacon, a combination bowl with quinoa and vegetables, and I think I had some salmon on top of it, and a smoothie, and it was $52, which is ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. I could buy a lot of food and make it at home for $52 for half of a week. And going out also, if you saves you gasoline, saves wear and tear on your car, and that's number 5. But it's an important one. And of course, food prices are going up, so the restaurant prices are going to go up. So you'll save even more money. Number 6, you don't waste food. And if you're having problems with let's say fresh greens, that's my biggest complaint that I get from clients is fresh greens go bad. They wilt, they die, they get icky. Well, guess what? I can show you how to store those. Wash them first and store them so that they won't go bad, so that you have them ready when you're hungry and you want to eat them. And there's a lot of kitchen hacks that I can give you that will help you understand what I'm talking about if you don't get it by now. Most of you will get it. But the idea of actually doing it and shopping smart, I hope you do get it. Make a list. Look around your kitchen, your refrigerator, your pantry. See what you've got. The key to not wasting the food is maximizing it when it's fresh, and maximizing your money and your time as well. When you get home, wash it carefully and store everything. One of my last gadgets that I got, I used to take my greens, lettuce, and the collards and kale and stuff like that, and I would dry it. You have to dry it because if you put it away wet, it's going to get yucky. But I got a lettuce spinner. It's a good investment. So get a lettuce spinner. You can put any of your greens into it. It's not just for lettuce. And it helps keep things fresher. Then you get green bags. Paper towels and green bags are your friends. And I found that things stay much fresher, much longer in those green bags. They're worth purchasing. You can get them online. Amazon has them, and your grocery store may have them too. If you can't find them easily, ask. Okay, cleaning up. Cleaning up's important because it's your surroundings, your environment. And as I taught my kids when they were cooking, clean up as you go, if possible. And also cleaning up gives you a feeling of satisfaction. You've done it, you've made your meal, you've eaten it and enjoyed it, and now clean up. You can meditate while you clean up. My kitchen is my meditation room. It may sound strange, but that's where I just kind of mellow out and meditate as I'm doing things. Kitchen gadgets and tools like the lettuce spinner are very important for one person or for a crowd, because having the right tool for the right job, I'm sure you've heard that before, works in the kitchen as well. I could show you my 3 different favorite knives. One's this big, one's this big, and one is a little paring knife. And I keep them sharp because sharp knives do matter. If you, God forbid, cut yourself, you want to cut yourself cleanly, not with a jagged edge, or that you've been forcing something through. You can't get the knife through the food and all of a sudden it slips. Sharpen the knife. Use it carefully. Gadgets like certain whisks. I have some fun whisks. I have one that you have to pump up and down. You can see there's one on Amazon. It looks like a little flare on the bottom, and you pump it up and down. It's great for frothing drinks. Like I like green tea lattes, so I'll use it in my latte and stand there and pump the damn thing up and down. But it's great. It really works. And then there are other whisks. There's little whisks and big whisks. So gadgets and tools save you time because it's the right tool for the right job. Aprons can be fun, and I do have aprons. They're on my website, which you can see is in the chat, rickiskitchen.net. I have 2 favorite aprons. One of them says, take whisks, and that's, I'm not Elmer Fudd. That's Whisks. It's a play on word. And the other one says, everything tastes better with bacon. BAKIN apostrophe. And it has cupcakes on it. So I can show you those if Red will give me a minute. Can I do that, Red?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, I'll grab
Bacon.
one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead and grab it. Bacon and butter and bourbon. I'm all the B's. There's a lot of good things there that taste better.
I like that. The 3 B's: bacon, butter, and bourbon. Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. I'll just put it on. There we go. If I stand up, well, you can't see it then. Okay, well, it does say take whisks. And you can see the whisks.
Can see it now very easily.
Oh, good. And it's rickyskitchen.net on the bottom. By the way, these are on my website. And all you have to do is click on the shop department and you'll find them. And there's, as I said, the other one says everything tastes better with bacon with cupcakes on it. And they wash beautifully, by the way. They're very good. They cover a whole, it doesn't matter your size. You can wear one. They're quite full. And they save your clothing, which is another money saver and time saver. So then if you have questions, I welcome questions in the chat.
Okay, so you have your business and you're cooking for one. That's your new focus.
Yes.
How are you networking it? How are you marketing it?
Well,
is your website set up that now you're focusing on? In other words, what have you done to kind of shift what you were doing earlier as a chef to what you want to do now?
Okay. Well, earlier as a chef, I have also been cooking for seniors, and I do some private cooking. I have a couple of clients where I literally go into their homes and cook for them. The website is being redone so that people can find information. I'm putting some little tips and hacks on there about cooking for one. And for further information, please email me through the website at Ricky's Kitchen, Ricki at rickyskitchen.net, or text me, and in your text, put the word kitsch or kitchen first, so I know that it's a real question. And I welcome that. The phone number is 970-618-7607, and I will answer you if that word kitchen or kitsch is in there.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you've been doing hosting on this network.
Yeah.
So you have your videos. So that's part of your networking.
Yes, and there's I do have a cooking show. The reason I'm in my chef coat right now is Thursday mornings, which this is, at 11 o'clock Central Time, whether it's Central Daylight or Central Daylight Savings Time. I will be in this kitchen, and you can look around a little bit. There's the refrigerator, and there's other stuff over here like the sink, and the range is behind me back there. This is really my kitchen, and I do function in here from 11 to 12 noon on Thursdays, 4 Thursdays a month, and the connecting link is on my website. And if you email me at the website, leave your email and your phone number, I will email you with the information. I welcome you every week. We have so much fun. Yep, that's all the things we do.
I'm going to ask you a strange question. Maybe you've already been asked before, but do you cook dog food?
You know what's funny? I cook cat food. My cat we have a cat, and she likes chicken. I'm not sure she's crazy about the harissa when I make it real spicy, but no, seriously. I do cook some chicken for her, and she really gobbles it up. We have to be careful, though, because she has some little kidney problems. So she gets pretty good fed. I have actually, this is how funny my family is. My granddaughter, who lives in Kansas, is an equestrian, and she was making horse cookies. She was making cookies for horses and using little forms and baking cookies for horses. So kitchens are good for lots of things. And of course, where does everybody gather when they're at a party? In the kitchen. But I thought it was really amazing that I think she was 13 when she was doing this. She was riding horses and she was making treats for them in the kitchen. So there's lots of stuff can come out of your kitchen.
I listened to on the radio driving somewhere. It was a veterinarian, and he was talking about nutrition, which kind of strange. But he's talking about, animals are carnivores. They want meat, and what we give them is a lot of rice and cereal and other things in the packaged dog food. And over time, they end up with issues.
Yeah.
And he says they really should have, the natural fats, the natural, meats and everything.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter moved back in with us. We now have a couple grand dogs that are living. And part of what I do is I take half of their food as some kind of protein. And
Sure.
I will, in fact, that last night or 2 nights ago, I actually cooked a pork loin and several pieces of chicken, diced them, not fine, but diced them. And I put part in a container in the refrigerator, which they're in baggies. So now
Mhm.
I get a baggie out, split it between two deals, and then put the dry food on top of it. And I
Oh,
usually
they'll love it.
a coconut oil or something like that
Yeah.
to just kind of give it a little bit of extra health benefit to it. And then, but sometimes you can buy some very inexpensive proteins, and if you're looking for something to supplement your animal's diet, I bought a pork roast a while back, and it was too big for us, and I think I ended up taking half of it and freezing it, and then
Mhm.
half I had, I ended up making dog food out of it. It was just way too much food for what we needed in that period of time, but it was still a good piece of inexpensive meat. It was organic. It didn't cost that much more than the regular stuff, and sometimes it's hard to find some of those things that are organic, but that's generally the way I shop.
That's good because organic meats don't have a lot of the oh,
Hormone
whatever hormone disruptors
and
that come right up the food chain when you eat them. I am an omnivore. I'm not a vegan, and I really enjoy meats, but not very often. Not red meat very often. Um, you had a point about when you brought the whole pork roast. Exactly what I'm talking about. If you were cooking for yourself or for you and Marilyn, then you take as much as you need for the two of you and you freeze the rest. So it's there. And there are several different ways to defrost food in a hurry. If you forgot to take it out the night before and leave it in the refrigerator to defrost, but to defrost meats or chicken or fish and fix them 1, 2, 3 quick and fix enough for you and the dogs.
how do people get in touch with you if they want your service or talk to you or anything at all about your books? How do they get in touch with you?
Well, rickyskitchen.net is the good place. You can also find the book on Amazon, but as I said, if you really want the spiral version, you have to come to me. Please come cook with me and come buy the book. It's and I will mail it out. And it's right now it's on a special, and I'll include the shipping in it. So it's rickyskitchen.net, which is somewhere up there, I think. It's in the chat. I know that. RICKIS kitchen.net. And also, as I said, I will answer texts. If you text to 970-618-7607 with the word kitchen in the preface.
Let me
those are
repeat.
two good ways.
Let me repeat that number again: 970-618-7607.
That's
And
correct.
we're getting to the end of the show, so I'm going to bid you adieu, and I look forward to seeing you here, hopefully within a week, for other things that are going on in our lives.
Yes, sir.
And thank you very much for your time today, and have fun, enjoy life, and we'll catch you later.
Thank you, Red. Blessings to everybody. Hearty appetite.
Okay, Red O'Loughlin here. We're getting ready to wrap up literally in a few seconds. The Wise Ones today on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. Our guest was Chef Ricki Mckenna. And my show is coming up next literally in about 18 minutes. It's called Talking Heads. And I'm talking about a series I'm doing now. What would I do as a researcher, as somebody who understands the cellular chemical operations in the body, what's going on? So I'm talking today about how do you prevent disease. So please join me if you can. If not, catch us in the archives on YouTube under USA Global TV. Take care, y'all. Bye now.
What if one simple skill could change the way you connect with the world? What if listening could open doors to deeper relationships, stronger businesses, and a better you? Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the Listening Mentor, brings you USA Global TV and Radio, a space where voices are heard, ideas are shared, and global communities thrive. Through the elevated listeners' courses and books, you'll master the power of listening, set boundaries with confidence, and transform conversations into opportunities. Join us. Listen, learn, elevate. Whether you're a leader, a coach, a business owner, or someone seeking stronger connections, your journey starts today. Subscribe, learn, and transform today.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents our partner and sponsor, Mr. Philip Sykes and the British School of Excellence. Building confidence, changing lives. And now, proudly presenting the Polished Professional.
On a transformative journey with the British School of Excellence's comprehensive suite of masterclasses, crafted to elevate your professional and personal life. 8 outstanding modules will elevate you to the next level. Module 1, Exploring Life's Purpose, delves into the depths of self-discovery, guiding you to chart your unique path to fulfillment and success. Module 2, Mastering Professional Presence and Confidence. This masterclass is a deep dive into the art of self-assurance and commanding presence, which is essential for standing out in today's competitive landscape. Module 3, Learn the secrets of visual impact, how to curate a personal style that amplifies your professional brand. Module 4, Mastering Professional Etiquette and Communication Excellence, navigating the nuances of corporate interaction with grace and tact. Module 5, Elegance in Eloquence. We impart powerful techniques to captivate and persuade any audience with your oratory skills. Module 6, Unlock the potential of your emotional intelligence, EQ, and harness the ability to connect, empathize, and lead with emotional savvy. Module 7, Mastering DISC, building a gateway to understanding behavioral styles, fostering better personal and professional relationships. Module 8, Mastery in Dining Etiquette, building your confidence to perfect the subtleties of dining with finesse, enhancing your social savviness at any table. Step into the Polished Professional program where poise, elegance, and excellence aren't just taught, they're instilled for life. Join us to redefine your potential and polish your professional edge.
To learn more, go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. The British School of Excellence are investors in people. Let us invest in you.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA-Global-TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, We're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.